My dear child, I know the weight you've been carrying, even if no one else sees it. You've been walking through your days holding pieces of yourself together while silently praying, God, please don't let me break. You've smiled in rooms where your heart was hurting. You've given strength to others while quietly wondering where your own strength would come from. And the truth is, you're tired. Deep down, soul level, tired. I've watched you wrestle with thoughts in the middle of the night, thoughts that swirl like a storm, thoughts that say, what if nothing changes? What if this is all there is? But I want you to hear me clearly. This is not all there is. What you're walking through right now is not the conclusion of your story. It's a page in the middle, a crucial, sacred page that I'm using to prepare you for what's coming next. You've been sensing something, haven't you? You can't quite explain it, but you felt a spiritual pressure building, as if something around you is shifting. Your heart feels stirred. Your sleep hasn't been the same. You've noticed patterns breaking, relationships changing, even your own reactions evolving. You've begun to feel the disconnection from old things, but you're not fully connected to the new yet. That space, that unknown space between who you were and who you're becoming, is where I'm speaking to you now. Let me tell you something you might not fully believe yet. Nothing about this moment is accidental. The confusion, the tension, the restlessness, these are not signs of failure. They are signs of spiritual construction. I am doing something in the invisible that will change what is visible. I'm rearranging the atmosphere around your life. I'm realigning people, opportunities, timing, all with divine precision. You don't see it yet, but you will. I know it's hard. I know waiting without clarity feels like torture. I know how many times you've prayed, God, just give me a sign. But listen to me. The silence is not absence. It is movement. Holy, precise, divine movement. The same way a seed must break underground before it rises, you are breaking through something hidden before anything can grow where others can see. There have been moments you wanted to give up, moments you questioned if you even heard me right. Was I wrong to believe? Did I imagine the promise? Was it all just wishful thinking? Number, you weren't wrong. You weren't imagining things. That whisper you heard in your spirit, that quiet but undeniable sense of calling, of purpose, of destiny, that was me. I put it there, and I never start something without finishing it. But before the shift happens in your life, it first happens inside of you. That's what's been happening lately. An inner unraveling, a holy tension. You've been losing your appetite for things that once satisfied you. You've been more sensitive to truth and more repelled by what's fake. The things that once entertained you now feel empty. You're growing, spiritually, emotionally, even mentally. And that growth often feels like grief. But what you're grieving is the part of you that can't come with you into the next season. So if you've been asking, what's wrong with me? Let me give you the answer. Nothing is wrong with you. Something is changing in you. And more importantly, something is changing around you. Angels have been assigned to your life. Doors are being set to open at appointed times. I'm preparing people to bless you, to help you, to walk with you. But I must finish what I'm doing in the invisible before I reveal it in the visible. Don't rush the process. Don't despise the discomfort. Don't interpret delay as denial. I'm not punishing you. I'm preparing you. Because what's coming is greater than what you lost. What's ahead will heal what hurt you. And when you step into it, you will understand why the warfare was so intense, why the silence was so loud, why you were pulled away from certain people, places, and patterns. You see, what I'm about to do in your life requires a version of you that's anchored, not just excited, rooted, not just emotional, obedient, not just hopeful. I'm building that version of you in this very season, through every tear, every unanswered question, every lonely moment. You're being transformed in the tension. And I need you to hear this next part deeply in your soul. I am with you. I haven't left. I haven't stopped caring. I haven't stopped moving. My love hasn't changed because of your mistakes, your doubts, your exhaustion. I'm not afraid of your weakness. I'm the God who strengthens you in it. And every sigh, every prayer, every whisper of God help me, I've heard them all. I've collected every one like treasure. There is a shift coming. Yes, something is changing in the invisible. It's real. It's active. It's divine. And if you could see what I see, if you could glimpse the magnitude of what I'm setting in motion on your behalf, you wouldn't worry for another moment. You'd prepare. So let me ask you, will you trust me here? Will you keep walking even when the road is foggy? Will you worship even when your heart feels heavy? Will you believe that I'm still writing your story and that the next chapter is full of light? You've made it this far not because you were lucky, but because you were chosen. The pain didn't disqualify you. The delay didn't cancel your promise. It's all been a setup, a divine orchestration of time and spirit. Get ready, because what's coming is not small, it's not ordinary, and it's not late. It's right on time. You've been searching for a moment like this, not just scrolling for distraction, but hoping that something would speak directly to you. And here I am. I guided you to this very message because I've heard your silent questions, your restless thoughts, and your quiet plea. God, if you see me, please say something. So now I'm saying it. I see you. I've always seen you. Even in the places where you felt invisible to others, I was watching with love that never turned away. Even when your strength was wearing thin, I was holding you together in ways you couldn't fully see. I want you to know what I see when I look at you right now. Not the you that the world sees, not the one you try to present when you're tired but still pushing through. I see the you that kept going even when you wanted to stop. I see the you that cried in silence, but still showed up for others. I see the you that still believes, even when doubt shouts louder than hope. And I want to say this clearly. I'm proud of you. Yes, even with all your questions, even with your imperfections, even when you felt unsure about me, I've been proud of your courage, your faith, your heart. You've been standing in a space where not many could endure. You've felt like you're in between who you were and who you are becoming. And that in-between space has felt like a storm. But I'm using that storm. I'm allowing it not to destroy you, but to reveal who you really are and what I've placed inside of you since the beginning. There's nothing wrong with you for feeling this tension. You're not broken. You're being broken open so that what's real, what's eternal, what's holy, can rise. This is why you've been more sensitive lately. Why you're not satisfied by shallow things anymore. Why you feel disconnected from people or places you once clung to. Because I'm pulling you higher, deeper, closer. I'm shifting the atmosphere of your life to make space for what's about to be birthed through you. You've been praying for change, but now you're living through the process that brings it. And it's uncomfortable. Growth often is. But I need you to understand something. You're not behind. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. Every delay had a purpose. Every detour had direction in it. What you thought was failure was actually me rerouting you for something better. What you assumed was silence was actually preparation. I have not been absent. I've been working behind the scenes, arranging divine connections, aligning opportunities, and preparing your heart to receive what's on the way. And it's closer than you think. I know it's tempting to compare your life to others, to feel like they're ahead, like they've figured it out, while you're still waiting. But I need you to stop looking side to side and start looking up. What I've written for you is not the same as anyone else's path. I don't rush your process because your foundation matters to me. What I'm building through you requires depth. That's why it's taken time. That's why certain doors didn't open. That's why I've protected you from relationships, jobs, situations that looked good, but weren't aligned with your calling. I've been pruning so that what remains is pure, so that when the blessing comes, you'll be ready, not just to receive it, but to carry it with grace and wisdom. So here's what I want from you right now. Don't give up. Don't shut your heart down. Don't harden yourself just because you're tired. Stay soft. Stay open. Stay close to me. This is the moment where many turn away because they think nothing's happening. But something is happening in the invisible. And those who trust me here will see the miracle unfold in the visible. I am not asking you for perfection. I'm asking you for presence. I'm asking you to be with me, to talk to me even if your voice shakes, to sit in silence if words don't come, to believe, even with trembling hands, that I am still faithful. If this word is stirring something in you, respond. Don't let it pass like just another message. Say it out loud. I am ready for what's next. Write it down. Hold it close. Let your spirit agree with mine. That simple act of faith opens a door for me to move. It's not about magic. It's about alignment. When your heart says yes to what I'm doing, even before it all makes sense, heaven begins to move in your direction. And I promise you this, you will not come out of this empty. Everything you've walked through, every tear you've cried, every moment you chose to keep going, I will honor it. I will multiply what you sowed in secret, and the harvest will come. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. There's a reason why your soul has felt unsettled lately, why you wake up some days with a weight you can't explain, why your mind seems to fight battles before your feet even touch the floor. This isn't just emotional fatigue or mental exhaustion. What you're feeling is spiritual. You're in the middle of a shift that the physical world can't fully explain, but your spirit knows something is happening. You've been sensing the shaking, the stirring, the stretching, and no matter how you try to push it away or explain it through logic, it keeps calling your attention. That's me. I'm allowing you to feel it because I don't want you to ignore what I'm doing. What you're going through right now is not just about your circumstances. It's about your atmosphere. You've been under a spiritual pressure, a divine tension, because I am breaking off things that no longer belong to your future. There are old mindsets, old attachments, old identities that can't go with you where I'm taking you. And though you may not understand why certain people left, why certain plans failed, or why certain doors stayed shut, I do. I allowed them to close, not to punish you, but to protect you. Because when I call you forward, I must also cleanse what's around you. And sometimes that means removing what you thought you needed. I know that part hurts. I know it feels like loss. But what you're actually experiencing is divine separation. And separation always comes before elevation. Before I lifted Joseph to a palace, I allowed him to be separated from his brothers. Before David wore the crown, he had to endure the cave. Before Jesus stepped into resurrection, he walked through Gethsemane and the cross. What you are in right now, this space between promise and fulfillment, is your preparation ground. And I'm not absent in it. I'm closer than ever, watching, shaping, refining. I'm pruning not to reduce you, but to make you fruitful in a way you've never been before. You've been asking me, why do I feel so heavy? Why is there so much resistance when I'm trying to do what's right? It's because the warfare has increased around you, not because you're weak, but because you're close. Hell doesn't fight what isn't a threat. The enemy has seen the potential in you, even when you've doubted it yourself. He knows what I've placed inside you, and he's terrified of what happens when you start walking in it. That's why the pressure has increased. That's why old wounds have resurfaced. That's why your emotions have been unpredictable. The battle is spiritual. You're not crazy. You're not overly emotional. You're not weak. You're in a war that's trying to stop your next level, but let me remind you, the battle belongs to me. I've already secured your victory. What I need is your alignment, your awareness, your willingness to stay close, even when it feels like nothing's changing. Because something is changing in the invisible. And what shifts in the invisible eventually manifests in the physical. But first, I must deal with the root. And some of the roots I'm exposing right now are deeper than you realized. I'm bringing up insecurity that's been buried for years. I'm pulling out shame that was hiding under your smile. I'm revealing wounds that were never truly healed. Not to shame you, but to heal you completely. I don't want to bless the version of you that's still bleeding. I want to restore you fully, deeply, from the inside out. Let me tell you what's really happening. I'm detoxing your spirit. You've been carrying things that don't belong to you, expectations from others, pressure to perform, lies that you've believed about who you are. And those things have been choking the life out of your joy, your peace, your clarity. But I'm not letting you live bound anymore. I'm setting you free. And sometimes, freedom feels like fire. It burns off the excess. It purifies. It separates. And yes, it can be painful, but it's holy. Because when the fire passes, what's left is real. And I'm after what's real in you. So if you feel like you're unraveling, you are. But not in a way that ends in destruction. In a way that ends in revelation. I'm unraveling the false identities you've worn just to survive. I'm removing the layers of self-protection you built in past seasons of trauma. I'm stripping away the masks, not to expose you in shame, but to introduce you to the version of you I created before the world hurt you. That's the you I'm calling forth now, the healed, bold, free, whole you. And yes, it requires confrontation. Yes, it means revisiting some memories, letting go of some habits, breaking ties with familiar but toxic patterns. But this is not a punishment, it's a rescue. I'm not taking things from you to leave you empty. I'm clearing the space so I can fill you with what truly lasts. You've asked me to change your life. I am. But before I change your situation, I'm changing you. Because if I gave you the promise too soon, it would crush you. I need to build the foundation strong enough to hold the blessing. And that's what this season is about. Foundation, not popularity, not quick answers, not temporary fixes, but lasting healing, lasting identity, lasting purpose. That's what I want for you. You don't have to understand all of it right now. You don't even have to feel strong every day. I just want your yes, your trust, your presence. I'm not rushing you. I'm walking with you, one moment, one layer, one healing at a time. And I promise you, what's on the other side of this is more beautiful than what you left behind. You've been asking for signs, some visible proof that what you're sensing is real, that you're not just hoping in vain. You've prayed things like, Lord, if I'm on the right path, just give me a sign. And though you may not have recognized them, I've been giving them all along. You see, I don't always speak through the loud and dramatic. More often, I speak in the subtle, the ordinary, the moments that whisper instead of shout. That unexpected peace that came in the middle of your anxiety, that was me. That random text from someone who reminded you of who you are, that was me. That stirring in your spirit that told you not to settle, that was me too. I've been surrounding you with signs of my hand, signs of alignment, signs that your steps are not being wasted, even if the road feels unclear. You're in a season where your faith is growing, not because everything is working out, but because you're learning to believe even when it doesn't. That's what real faith is. not seeing and then believing, but believing even when there's no physical evidence yet. And because you've kept walking, even with limited vision, I'm about to reward your obedience. The atmosphere around you is shifting because your heart has stayed open. You've kept praying, even when your prayers felt unanswered. You kept showing love, even when you felt unseen. You've chosen to forgive, even when you had every reason not to. Those choices didn't go unnoticed. Heaven sees it all. And now, heaven is moving in response. I want you to understand something that most people miss. I move on obedience, not just desperation. And you, beloved, have obeyed in silence, in tears, in long nights. That's why the winds are changing. That's why you've started to feel that internal sense that something is coming. Even if nothing around you looks different yet, I've been sending confirmation in waves. You've noticed numbers repeating, dreams becoming more vivid, old patterns falling away. You've been seeing faces you haven't seen in years, or feeling led to cut ties with people you once leaned on. That's not coincidence. That's divine orchestration. I'm pruning, positioning, preparing. And I'm inviting you to pay attention because your spirit already knows what your eyes haven't seen yet. I'm a God of promise, and what I promise, I perform. I'm not like man. I don't change my mind based on circumstances. I don't forget what I spoke over you. Before you were even formed in your mother's womb, I saw this exact season of your life. I saw the heartbreak, the confusion, the waiting, and I still said yes to your destiny. I still said yes to your name. And now, the promises I made to you are being activated, not by chance, but by my timing. This is not about your qualifications or your perfection. This is about my covenant with you. What I've spoken over your life is sealed by my spirit, not by your performance. So stop disqualifying yourself based on your past. Stop assuming I've changed my mind about you just because the process took longer than you expected. My promises are not expired. They are alive, maturing, moving toward manifestation. The first sign of change is not always external. It's internal, and you've been changing. You're more aware, more sensitive to my voice, less attached to things that once controlled you. That's not failure. That's transformation. And transformation is the foundation for promotion. I'm about to elevate you, not just in position, but in identity. You're going to wake up and realize that you're no longer living from a place of survival, but from purpose. You won't have to force doors open. They'll open naturally. You won't have to chase people. The right ones will be drawn to the light in you. Because what I'm doing is not cosmetic. It's foundational. I'm rebuilding your life on truth, on grace, on divine order. There are signs all around you that this shift is real. You're craving more of me. You're no longer satisfied with shallow relationships or surface-level spirituality. That's not random. That's the call of destiny pulling you deeper. I'm speaking through your hunger. I'm confirming through your discomfort. And I'm leading you through your questions. Stop looking for fireworks and start noticing the patterns. I speak through repetition, through inner conviction, through the peace that comes after surrender. And lately, haven't you noticed how certain things no longer disturb you like they used to? That's growth. That's me enlarging your capacity. You've been through the wilderness, you've walked through nights that made you question everything, but you never let go of me. And that matters more than you know. You may feel like you failed at times, but I don't measure you by moments of weakness. I measure you by the fact that you kept getting back up, that you never walked away for good, that you kept whispering my name even through your pain. Because of that, the promise stands. I've not changed my mind about you. I'm still releasing what I spoke over you, and I'm confirming it even now, in this very moment, as you read these words. This is the beginning of breakthrough. The invisible has already shifted. Now the visible will catch up. You will see favor where there was frustration. You will see open doors where there were walls. You will experience clarity where there was confusion. Not because you earned it, but because you stayed faithful. The reward is coming, and it will not be delayed. Now that I've opened your eyes to the shift that's happening in the invisible, I need you to understand how to walk this out in your daily life, because the movement I've begun in the Spirit must now be matched by movement in your choices. Faith is not just a belief, it's a lifestyle, it's a rhythm, it's a posture of expectation that becomes visible in how you respond to every situation you face, even the smallest ones. What I'm doing is not limited to your quiet time or your Sunday service. I want to be present in how you think when you're driving, how you speak to the people around you, how you respond to disappointment, and how you carry yourself when no one's watching. That's where transformation takes root, not in the grand, but in the consistent. So let's talk about what faith looks like in this season of transition. First, it looks like peace. Not the kind of peace that depends on everything going right, but the kind that chooses stillness, even in uncertainty. I want you to begin to choose peace daily, not because you feel it, but because you trust me. Every time anxiety rises, every time your mind begins to spiral into what-ifs, stop, take a breath, and declare, God is in control. I release this to Him. That declaration, repeated consistently, shifts the spiritual atmosphere. It trains your soul to trust instead of panic. And with every repetition, you reinforce your alignment with me. Faith also looks like preparation. If you truly believe that something is changing in the invisible, then begin to prepare for what's coming. Do what Noah did. Build the ark before the rain. Organize your life in a way that reflects your expectation. Clean out the clutter, physically, mentally, spiritually. Stop holding on to relationships you know I've asked you to release. Stop pouring energy into habits that are draining your spirit. Begin to make room for the new. Faith doesn't just say, God will do it. Faith asks, how can I prepare for what He's doing? I'm not telling you to hustle. I'm not asking for perfection. I'm inviting you to partner with me in the process. And that partnership happens in the ordinary, in how you steward your time, your words, your thoughts, and your body. Even getting rest is an act of faith. It's you saying, I trust God enough to stop striving. So rest when I lead you to. Step when I prompt you to. Listen when I nudge your heart to pause and pray. These are the small hinges that will open big doors. And let's talk about your words. They carry weight, more than you realize. I want you to begin speaking as if my promises are already on the way, not in a way that pretends, but in a way that aligns. Speak life. Speak hope. Speak with authority. You've allowed discouragement to steal your vocabulary, but I'm giving it back to you now. Your tongue has power, and when you speak in agreement with my word, you activate change. So when fear tells you it's not going to happen, I want you to respond, my God is faithful. What He promised, He will perform. When shame whispers, you're not good enough, I want you to say, I am chosen. I am loved. I am being transformed. These declarations aren't just affirmations, they are spiritual weapons. You've also been placed in a specific environment for a reason. Your workplace, your home, your circle of influence. These are not random. I've placed you there as light. That doesn't mean you have to be loud or forceful. It means I want you to live in a way that reflects my presence. Be kind where others are impatient. Be honest where others lie. Be gentle where others shout. Let your life preach louder than your words. And when opportunities arise to speak, don't shrink back. I will give you the words. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be willing. And let's not forget, this walk of faith also requires community. I know you've been hurt before. I know you've tried to do this alone. But isolation is dangerous in this season. You need people who are aligned with my spirit. People who will call out the best in you, who won't let you settle. Pray for that. Ask me to send divine connections. I will. I already have people in motion. People who will sharpen your faith, protect your purpose, and remind you who you are when you forget. Don't let past wounds keep you from future alignment. What I'm doing in you is too important to be guarded in isolation. Let me lead you to the right relationships, and when I do, don't run. Receive them. Trust me enough to open again. This is how your faith becomes alive, not just in what you believe about me, but in how you walk with me. I am walking with you through the quiet mornings, through the hard conversations, through the financial pressure, through the loneliness, through the moments of celebration and the moments of confusion. I want to be involved in it all, so don't separate the spiritual from the practical. Bring me into every corner. Invite me into your thoughts while you're cleaning the house. Talk to me while you're stuck in traffic. Ask me what I think about your next step. I don't just want to be your savior. I want to be your daily companion, your guide, your father, your friend. And finally, I want you to expect joy again. I'm not just leading you to breakthrough, I'm leading you to delight, to laughter, to lightness of spirit. You've carried so much heaviness, and I honor your endurance. But joy is your portion too. So even as you wait, even as you walk, allow yourself to enjoy small moments. Don't postpone your praise. Don't delay your joy until everything is fixed. Celebrate what's already shifting. Thank me for what's unseen. That's how faith becomes fuel. When your worship goes ahead of your breakthrough, you're not just surviving anymore. You're walking in something new, and everything around you will begin to reflect what I've started inside of you. Get ready to see the evidence. And until then, live like it's already begun. Because in the spirit it has. I know you've questioned your worth. I know there have been seasons where you looked in the mirror and struggled to see anything of value. You've measured yourself through the lens of your past, your failures, your delays. And somewhere along the way, you started believing the lie that you were not enough, that you missed your chance, that something in you was broken beyond repair. But today, I'm speaking to the depths of your being, to the core of who you truly are, and I am restoring what life tried to steal. You are not forgotten. You are not too far gone. You are mine, fully, completely, eternally, and I am not finished with you. You need to hear this. Your identity is not defined by what you went through. It's not defined by who walked away, by what didn't work out, or by how long it's taken you to heal. I don't call you by your mistakes. I call you by your name. I don't see you through the lens of your shame. I see you through the lens of my mercy. You've been covered by grace from the very beginning, even when you couldn't feel it. And though the world may have tried to label you too sensitive, too late, too weak, too broken, I never gave you those names. I've always called you beloved, chosen, redeemed, warrior, child. You've spent too long agreeing with voices that were never mine, and those voices shaped how you saw yourself, small, unworthy, barely enough. But I'm silencing every voice that doesn't echo my heart for you. I'm dismantling the inner dialogue that's kept you living beneath your true identity. Because what I placed inside you, no disappointment, no person, no failure can remove. You were created with eternal purpose. You are not a random soul. You're not the result of circumstances. You're the result of intention, of vision, of divine desire. Let me remind you of what's always been true. You carry something sacred. There's a brilliance in you that hell has tried to dim. There's a calling on your life, that darkness has fought since the day you were born. You've been through battles most people don't know about, survived things that should have broken you, but you're still here. And you being here is evidence that I'm not done. You didn't make it this far by accident. I've been sustaining you, breathing into you even when you didn't realize it was me. I preserved you for this moment, for this awakening of identity, for this holy remembrance of who you really are. The enemy tried to wear you down, not just to make you tired, but to make you forget. Forget that you are royalty. Forget that you have authority. Forget that you are anointed. But I'm stirring something back to life in you. I'm awakening the fire that trials tried to smother. I'm reminding your soul that you were created for more than just survival. You were created to reign, not in arrogance, but in spiritual confidence. You were created to walk in peace, in purpose, in power. You were created to love deeply, to forgive boldly, to speak truth with compassion. You were created in my image, and that image is rising again. You may feel like you've lost time, like you've missed too many chances, but hear me, I am the Redeemer of time. I don't need your life to fit into human timelines. I don't measure your progress the way people do. I can do more in one moment of obedience than years of striving could accomplish. And I'm restoring what was lost. What shame stole, I will restore with honor. What pain disrupted, I will rebuild with peace. What confusion clouded, I will clear with clarity and conviction. And even the places where you feel weak, especially there, I will pour out my strength. You don't have to prove anything to me. I already know the truth about you. I know the strength that's been buried. I know the love you still carry even after all the betrayal. I know the faith that's still flickering, waiting to be fanned into flame. And I'm not here to shame you for what went wrong. I'm here to breathe life into what's still right. There is still a future. There is still beauty ahead. There is still joy that you haven't experienced. There are doors I will open, not because you earned them, but because I'm a good father and you're my child.